Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Evelyn here. Today I'm doing 20-something by DeadCheeky. Yeah, my 20s weren't all that great either. Interesting, but yeah. To give you an idea, like I said in my previous video about my teenage years, I didn't leave high school until I was 20. I went to, I was going to study journalism, but in Holland there's like, I think it is 2 or 3 journalism schools, and you have to enter this lottery to get in, and I didn't get in. So my plan B was to be a primary school teacher. And I was in a relationship since I was just before my 18th birthday, and he was studying in Eindhoven, which is in the south of the Netherlands, which, like the province that I'm from anyway. It's the city where Philips is from, and we decided to move in together, but in sort of like a student digs. So it was all like, well, the first house that I moved into wasn't all students. There was quite some interesting people, including this massive junkie and his girlfriend. Yeah, they would have arguments and throw bongs about. He was a drug tester. He had all kinds of mental health issues, as you can imagine. He'd been in prison. He had like psychic episodes. Yeah, he wasn't a very healthy man, and he was a bit scary, to be honest. He had homeless friends. We also had a bloke live with us who was 26, and he had a 16-year-old girlfriend, which technically isn't illegal, but it was still weird. And our landlord was an arsehole, so we then found another place that me, my boyfriend, and that one bloke with the very young girlfriend moved into. And you'd think that that would be better, but that was in the red light district of Eindhoven, or just on the outskirts of it. When my parents first came to meet us, I had to sort of guide them the long way round so they wouldn't see all the ladies behind the windows. So yeah, that was interesting. I didn't feel unsafe in that area, funny enough, because there was always a lot of police about. A prostitution like that isn't illegal in Holland, so yeah, there was a lot of police just driving around. It would get completely gridlocked of an evening, with cars going very, very slowly past all the windows. And there would be some ladies on street corners, and they're not legal. So yeah, they're more like the drug addict girls. I always felt sorry for them, but yeah. Once I was waiting for my bus in the middle of the day. I had I'd just done my shopping, and you know, I had my shopping in a bag, and someone came up to me and said, "Do you want to make some quick money? I don't have to do anything. I just want to watch you and your boyfriend." And one night I was waiting for the bus home, because I would go home of a weekend with all my washing, and yeah, I stood there with my big bags of, you know, my weekend go home bags, and his car pulled up, and he said, like, "Where are the girls?" I said, "They're like a couple roads down, like a bit further up." And he said, like, "You know, we could have a good time." And I said, "Well, I'm not interested in that kind of thing." And I was wearing this like long winter coat, I had a scarf on, I had my big bags. I don't know what he was thinking. Like, did he think that I was naked underneath and that, you know, my bags were full of toys or something? It was just weird. But yeah, so that was interesting. We also had a refugee from Iraq, I can't remember, who just moved in for a couple of weeks. Then also one of my housemates got talking to one of the girls, and she had trouble with her pimp, and he took her into our home, which we had a massive argument about because, you know, we didn't want any trouble. So yeah, that was an interesting period. I then moved with my boyfriend into like a proper student housing from the Student Housing Association, and things quieted down a bit. But this is when, you know, even before that, my eating disorder was really bad, and I was seeing a therapist, and I was doing group therapy and all that jazz, and my school wasn't exactly brilliant, and it really suffered. I didn't finish it. We then moved back to the town where he grew up, and we lived there for a while in like a flat, and then we moved into a house, and then we weren't like girlfriend and boyfriend really. We were sort of like living in the same house. We were more roommates than romantic partners, and there was a bit of overlap with the man I'm married to now, so I'm not proud of that, don't get me wrong. I should have ended things a lot sooner with my boyfriend, and done things the way you're meant to be doing things, but it didn't happen that way. So but that was technically my 30s, so let's not talk about that. Anyway, let's go to these questions. There's 11 of them. I've shuffled my deck. Of course, am using my everyday witch. God, lovely to relive all that. Right, here we go. Pressure made me give in to the Two of Wands. I don't know. He's standing there sort of like he's got things in control, like, but there's a bit, he looks angry, like he's going to be throwing fireballs anytime soon or something. I don't think I was ever like angry like that. Maybe I'm reading this wrong, but, and it does feel very, because he's on like a wall of a castle or something, a fort, like protecting himself, and I was very like withdrawn. I never really talked to people about my feelings or about anything like that. So, but that wasn't something I was pressured into. So I don't know. But yeah, that was definitely a theme for me, like keeping myself to myself, and sort of, maybe I was angry. I suppose I was. At myself as well. So yeah. Something I wish I had done. Seven of Swords. Maybe I should have left a lot sooner than I did. But like I said, that was for my 30s. But then maybe I should have left the situation of the crappy housing that I was in. Or, yeah. Not sure if I should have, like, snuck off and, you know, sneak off in the middle of the night and steal things, but, or like betray people. But yeah, maybe I should have left soda in the middle of the night with all my goodies. I did that though, kind of, when we decided to leave the house in the middle of the red light district. I was already doing my group therapy, and I had a flatmate who, like a housemate, who used to be training, like in my same uni, like training for primary school teacher. And for some reason, like I told them, because I was gone every Thursday night, and I told them that where I was going, and you know, that this was very difficult for me, and blah 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 blah, and I explained it all, because she used to be a good friend. And then all of a sudden she turned on me, and I used to get little notes everywhere addressed to, "You big fat cow, get your fucking hands off of my blah 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 blah." I wasn't allowed to use her telly downstairs, even though the sofa she was sitting on was mine. I wasn't allowed to bring her little kittens upstairs, even though she would be gone all day and they wouldn't have anyone to play with, so I would bring them up and play with them a little bit. In the end, I wasn't allowed to touch her pots and pans, even though they were the only pots and pans that we had in the house. So what me and my boyfriend would do was like get takeaway, or get something that was like really quickly done in the microwave or something like that, and then go straight back upstairs and eat it upstairs, and sort of like we would tiptoe around each other. And with all the notes and everything else, it started to get really really bad, and we decided to leave. We didn't tell her, and just one day we showed up with a moving van. My dad had a van that he could borrow off of his place of work, and we just put everything that we owned into the van, and they didn't like it. So because I even took stuff that they didn't realise was mine, like the sofa and like the TV stand, even though the telly was hers, but the TV stand was mine. That sort of thing. So yeah, I suppose we did, but we didn't steal anything. Like, God, lovely stuff. Something I did then that I would never do now. 9 of Wands. Now she, again, it's like she's sort of defending herself, and she's got her back up against the tree. I didn't really fight. I was quite passive aggressive, which I can be still. Maybe that's what I wouldn't do anymore. But I did do some things that I would never do now. When I was 26, and I've been looking for the pictures, but I can't find them. When I was 26, I was already part of the forum that I now run, like the eating disorder forum that I now run. And there was a call out for people wanting to do an interview in a magazine, and me and a couple of my friends, we did an interview, and it didn't go down well with my parents, because there was the tiniest little picture on the cover, which made me like, oh, I'm a cover girl. But inside there was like a big group picture of, there was 5 of us, like a big group picture, and then individual pictures, and then little stories about ourselves. And my mum was very worried that I would never find a job, and that people would look at me funny, and that people would really like ask her all kinds of questions, and what am I meant to say, that you've got an eating disorder, and like she really didn't like it. And but I was really proud of myself, and I had like from everyone else I had really positive responses. Everyone was so proud of me. So, but I would never do that anymore. I would never do that anymore, I don't think. And another thing, and I looked for those pictures as well, but I can't find them. I don't know if you've ever heard of the photographer Spencer Tunick. He's a bit of a weirdo, to be honest. Not like in a like bad sense, but just a bit of a, you know, he's an artist. He does nude pictures, like group pictures. And when I was 28, he was in Breda, which is very near to where I grew up and where I lived at that moment. And yeah, that was sort of like, when I was, that interview when I was 26, I was sort of like at the end of my eating disorder. And when I was 28, I was sort of like, well, this is it now. I'm done with it. Like, even though I've still got like food issues, it's not an eating disorder anymore. And yeah, so me and my boyfriend, we went to Breda. It was very early in the morning. You were meant to be wearing like loose fitting clothing, no jewellery, no watches or anything. And yeah, there was, I don't know how many people, loads of us. And yeah, we all just took our clothes off and lay down on the grass. It was cold and it was wet. It was in the park. And he took pictures. And then we moved a location twice. And one was out on a street, somewhere like a really quiet street. And yeah, it was quite the experience. And then as we walked back to, like, we just like walked back to where we put our clothes and started to get dressed, one of my neighbours walked by. Like, we lived in a block of flats, and then there was a road and then another block of flats, and he lived in the other block of flats. And every now and again he would walk past us and walk his dog, and we didn't, like, our garden wasn't like fenced in or anything, so anyone who walked past would just, like, you know, have a chat or whatever. And yeah, he was like, "Ooh, buurvrouw," neighbour, you know, fancy meeting you here, that kind of thing. And yeah, ever since that, he would walk by and he would go, "Oh, and I can't even remember what you look like." Yeah. But yeah, that was sort of like a proud moment, like feeling at home in my body. And yeah, but I don't think I would do that now. Right, number 4, an area where I needed to learn and grow the most. An area where I needed to grow and learn the most. Strength. Yeah, I quite agree with that. I needed to learn that I am strong and that I will come through whatever life throws at me, and like get through whatever life throws at me, and that strength isn't like a physical thing, or isn't just a physical thing, it's a mental thing as well. So yeah, I quite like that. My circle. Tell us who you'd like to hang out with the most. The moon. Oh, I know. By then I sort of had my witchy friends. I started to get into like the witchy side of things, and I had this online group that I yeah, and I started to learn about things. And in Eindhoven there was this little shop where they had all kinds of new agey stuff, and I would go there and look at things and buy books and look at crystals and all kinds of stuff. So yeah. the moon. That's a good one. My 20-something social life. The Empress. I didn't have any pregnant friends. I did, however, have one friend from school who was very like she would and sadly I'm no longer in touch with her, but she would really look after you, and quite literally sometimes, because she would take me out for lunch. And yeah, her and I would talk on the phone all the time, and yeah, so yeah, Empress. Although I wouldn't associate that card with her per se, but yeah, that is quite fitting. And other than that, I didn't really have all that much of a social life, so nothing's changed really. My first place experiences of living on my own. The High Priestess. I don't know. But I suppose that might go with what I was just saying, the place in Eindhoven where I started to... That was also sort of like when I first got the internet and it was all dial-up. Do you remember that? God, I spend a fortune on phone bills. Absolute fortune. But yeah, that's where I started to learn about like witchcraft and new agey stuff, and get into the things that I am still into, but just not the actual tarot things, tarot like readings and whatnot, because that didn't come until later. But yeah. And I suppose when I started living on my own, or not my own because I was with my boyfriend, I could sort of keep that separate from my family, so that was nice. Where I thought I would be aged 40. 8 of Cups. I never thought I would leave. But when I was 33 I did, so yeah. But I didn't think of that in my 20s, that I would leave, but I did. So yeah. What I miss most about being in my 20s, I don't really miss all that much. King of Pentacles. Look at him eating cake and drinking wine and like... I don't miss my eating disorder. I can't... No, I don't really... But no, like I said, I don't really miss all that much about my 20s, really. Except being younger. What I do... I mean, I don't have regrets, but I wish I had like got a bit more deeper into my witchy stuff, and but that's not missing. But yeah, and I definitely don't miss the dial-up. But oh, this YouTube thing would have blown my mind when I was in my 20s. I need to stop the camera because I only have X amount of time left. I get like just 25 minutes of recording time, and then my camera cuts out. So I'm going to stop the camera and then I'm going to come right back. See, you didn't even notice. And then it says to shuffle the deck and get the card from the back of the deck, so underneath instead of on top, and what I wouldn't want to relive. And like I said, 20s wasn't... So, practically everything I wouldn't want. Three of Cups. Why would I not want to relive having a good time with my friends, even though I didn't really... Maybe this is like the drama that came after, but because there was a lot of drama in the Witcher group that I set up with my friend. But yeah, back then it was a good thing. So, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I'm so sorry that I can't find any of the pictures. I do have a link for Spencer Tunick, so you can have a look and see what his artwork is all about. It's not for everyone. Some people say that it looks a bit like, yeah, it reminds them of like World War II. But it wasn't like that at all for me. It was about celebrating life and celebrating a feeling semi-good about my body, but at least like my body being me and you know, that kind of thing. So I will pop a link down below, and if I ever find pictures, because I do have the magazine that I was in somewhere, but it's in a box with all my journals, which is in the back of the room that we use as a attic, and it's such a mess, that room. So if we ever get to organising it slightly, and I'll like run into these pictures, I will like either pop them in somehow, or yeah, I might edit this into it, or I'll show you somewhere else, maybe Instagram or something like that. But yeah, this is it for now. Lovely questions. It was fun to think about all the insane things that happened during my 20s, even though when I think of it initially, all I think about is depression and eating disorder and messing up my education and spending so much time in a relationship that wasn't going anywhere, and sort of like dead end stuff. But yeah, I suppose there was good bits as well. There was highlights. So thank you very much, DeadCheeky, for coming up with all these questions. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you again very soon.